Hey guys, it's fucking Console Crapshoot, where we spin a wheel to play a random video game on original hardware. Still really dying to get the Neo Geo. I've been begging Carl, he doesn't appear to want to pick it yet. It still looks like no dice. Okay, but you guys know I will always take the Dreamcast. I'll never kick the Dreamcast out of bed. And let's see, we've got 253 games left on the Dreamcast wheel. Okay, Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2. Alright, I did have the first Ready to Rumble Boxing, and I played the crap out of it. I got it when it came out, but I never actually played the second one. Just a quick teaser for later, there is something incredibly fascinating about this game. I'm just gonna say that to tease you, but we'll come back to it. So like I said, I mostly played the first one. I don't want to talk too much about the first one, because what if we get it on the wheel one day? Then I'll have nothing left to talk about. But I'll just say that at the time it came out, the graphics were insane. That level of texture detail and facial animations were completely unheard of. It blew my mind, and this is the sequel to that. It looks like they basically took the same game since it was popular, and they added a ton more characters, a ton more features, and churned this one out real quick the following year. That's not to say that this is bad, it's just, let's call it what it is. Yeah, a lot more characters. Let's go with Afro Thunder. He's the guy on the cover. This game heavily featured Michael Buffer in it, the famous boxing announcer. Dude charges like millions of dollars just to say, let's get ready to rumble. And yeah, just as expected, the game moves and looks just like the first game. It even reuses a lot of the same animations and even a lot of the same sound clips. It's even more over the top. Again, I've talked about this before. This is the era when you get a lot of over the top characters, like stereotypical characters, one from every ethnicity.
Let's rumble, Holmes!
Problematic.
And then it looks like you've got an expanded career mode. A lot of mini games here to power up your fighter, a lot more than I thought there would be, and they're a lot harder than I thought they'd be. Some of these are kind of like impossible. And I guess now we should talk about the secret characters, the guest characters, and then that super fascinating thing I promised you. This game has a ton of secret characters, unlockable characters. You have Shaquille O'Neal in there. It's voiced by Shaquille O'Neal, but it does not look anything like Shaquille O'Neal. You got a robot with an alien driving it. You can fight with Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. There's this dude that looks like Prince, but he's not Prince, he's actually Afro Thunder's brother. You can make Michael Buffer Hulk out into a character called Rumble Man, and Rumble Man is hilarious.
Rumble Man, tired.
I love Rumble Man. And that brings us to the part of this game that I find fascinating. So one of the unlockable characters is Michael Jackson. And that's not that crazy. Michael Jackson's been in a couple of games. But here's the really weird part. We're all familiar with how Michael Jackson sounds, his speaking voice. And that's what we're used to with Michael Jackson. But if you do a little digging, for years, celebrities, people who've hung out with Michael Jackson in real life, have talked about how he didn't really sound like that in real life. It was kind of this voice that he put on, and I think like most things with Michael Jackson, it all stems from his childhood trauma. There are interviews with him as a child where the interviewer is basically telling him that when his voice changes, he's not going to be able to sing good anymore. I think that partially has something to do with it, but either way, people describe that his voice is a much lower register in real life. He kind of talked sort of normal. So Michael Jackson wanted to be in this game. He came into the studio to record his lines, and he wanted to record them for some reason in his normal lower register speaking voice.
So you be bad, huh? I don't move over for no one.
That must have surprised the game designers and the audio engineers, because it sends weird mixed messages. People are going to be playing this game and there's Michael Jackson and then there's this guy talking in a low tone. They're going to think, why did they get this person that sounds nothing like Michael Jackson to voice Michael Jackson? But it actually is Michael Jackson. He just didn't want to talk like he normally talked that day. All these voice clips are him.
Don't tango with the king of pop.
I don't know. I found that fascinating. Am I the only one? What do you guys think about this? Alright, so let's cut to it. Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2 for the Sega Dreamcast. It is fun, it is funny, and it's not just a button masher. There are some tactics involved here. It's actually not a bad boxing game for its time. That gets lost in the over-the-top wackiness, and understandably so, but it's a solid game. It's a fun time. For me, as someone who was so familiar with the first one, it doesn't feel like an actual true sequel. It feels like what today would equate to like a year or two's worth of downloadable content. Like I said, things are blatantly reused from the first game.
It's time to dance! It's time to dance!
So for that, with that in mind, I'm just going to say that this game is good. It's a 3 out of 5. It's fun. If you've got a friend that loves the Dreamcast, you're going to have a fun 30-40 minutes with this. And sometimes that's all you need. Alright guys, that was fun. When are we going to get the Neo Geo though? Carl's holding out on us, but we will see what happens next week. Looking forward to it. See you then.
Hey,
I got into this game for a real match.